Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are doing a discussion over Earth, one of the most critically acclaimed games that was coming out in 2023. And, I mean, here's the thing. This game was, I think, because there's so many of these games that come out now, I'm not even, like, attributing any of it to Wingspan, just because that's about birds, and it's like, yeah, that might have done, like, the nature thing, but I mean, if we're just taking games that have pretty pictures, Meadow has it, Arc Nova, it's real life, and then, I mean, I don't really know if you would call this a game, but a game called Keepers, which is literally based off some dude's photography.
Right.
We call it the coffee table book game, because it's just, ooh, look at the pretty pictures. So it was kind of like, when I saw this, I initially was gonna back it, but then I backed out, because then I'm like, really? Like, do I need another one of these? And eventually, this is your copy that you got. But then I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll late pledge. And I gotta say, I'm super glad I did. I think this game has some pretty significant legs and more depth to it than you would actually think. So it's not just a game that has an amazing cover with beautiful and gorgeous artwork. I mean, well, I guess, sorry, not artwork, because it's just photos that are most likely enhanced through Photoshop, but man, it is just so nice to see. And I appreciate when games like this put little facts, just to be like, if you're waiting for someone's turn, and you're like, I already did all my actions, it's your turn, I'm just going to read what these, oh, that's pretty neat. So, I very much enjoy it. It scratches a really, really good part of my brain. So what do you think of Earth?
I really like it. It was kind of daunting when you first started kind of looking at it, because there's a lot of symbology and stuff, but then they do a good job of showing the stuff, you know,
yeah,
once you learn the routine. Like, this is one of those games that you just need to get it to the table and play it, because once you start playing it, then you understand the rhythm of the game.
Yeah.
The thing that is really cool about this game is, well, it has a shit ton of cards, for one thing. But then, like it says in the rule book, you know, like, it brings up that deal, because there's all these different cards, the way you set up your initial setup. And there's 25,600 possible setups. Yeah. And because every one of those cards is double-sided when you're doing this stuff. So all the fauna cards, all the environment cards, or ecosystem cards, you put them out, and then they're double-sided. So it's like, there's only
64?
90, 104 cards. Yeah. Because 64 and two sets of 20.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in half of that, so it'd be 10, 20, and 32. So it's 52 cards double-sided. Yeah. Is all it is. But it's like that just changes the whole setup, and then you have your huge deck of cards.
Of just massive cards with just different ways that you're going to build out your tableau. Because I love tableau builders. I mean, Everdell like shot up in my top 100 just because it just always works. Verdant is another one that's about plants, and that's what you're mainly putting down over in your tableau. Like, in my head, I thought you were going to be doing animals as well as just everything. Right. But I'm actually glad. I like the way they did it. But there's a bunch of other games that I can see them like piecing apart, because Cascadia has like your animals as like your scoring objectives. That's the exact same thing here with your fauna. Of like, oh, those are ways you can score, and then you have your ecosystem cards, which I just love. Personal objectives that you have one, and then in the standard game, you get 2 public ones. And then you're doing a lot of stuff with the actual flora in your tableau. And then there's also terrain, which is just endgame victory points as well. It's kind of like a mishmash of a bunch of different stuff that really synergizes together. That it's like, yeah, everything here works. And the best part about it, which might be a negative to some people, is the fact that it's pretty much multiplayer solitaire. Yeah. Like, you're the only thing, and I love this, is I choose an action, everyone else gets to do
that was going to be my point. Like, there's so many games that we've played over the last few years with, like, what's that one?
Yeah, that one.
Boone Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And all these different, where you pick an action, and then the other person gets a lesser version of that action, so that the downtime isn't there. You know, like you talked about reading the cards.
Yeah.
When your turn's over, but yet you really don't have that much time, because when your turn's over, then you're waiting as soon as they pick an action, because you don't have to sit and wait. The first few rounds we did. Yeah. We were waiting to see how things were going, but then once we pick an action, it's like, okay, he's planting his 2, so I'm going to go ahead and plant my 1, draw my card, be ready. So it's like their downtime is pretty minimal in this game,
it is.
You know?
Because in this, it's not just you get a lesser secondary action. You get that on top of the fact that you also get to run.
Fire off everything.
So there are times where you're kind of like, hope he picks green. Hope he picks green, like, because I would like to plant also, and I have some things that do well with green. Hope he picks blue, because that's what I need to pop off for. And it just feels nice. This is a very feel-good game. I think this would be one of those games that's like next level. It's not Gateway. There's way more going on, but it's like if you're wanting something that's a little bit more crunchier that you can keep track of but with the icons all making sense, this isn't a bad one to jump out, especially because you don't have to do the ecosystem cards.
Right.
Like, that's just if you want extra ways to score.
I would say this would be a step under Arc Nova.
Yeah.
Just because there's multiple scoring tracks.
Yeah,
on stuff
like
Arc
if you were
Nova
doing like
everything.
Cascadia, then this one, then Arc Nova. If you're just doing a fun
This would be
Earth
this would
game,
be like a midweight.
Yeah. And I just think that's awesome. Like, just tons of different ways to score. Like, it even says 25,000 different scoring opportunities, because it's like, yeah, your fauna, then your island, then your climate. Like, the strategies that you and I went for based off what we had were just radically different. And I'm like, hey, this is what's working for me. These are the cards that I've decided to place, and I'm going to try and go for 2 of these. Well, ended up getting 3 of them, but it's like, okay, well, that one's about bushes. That's a Siberian tiger. I'm going to get bushes because they hold a shit ton of sprouts that I want, and the great whatever, the great steppe is all about bushes as well. Sure, let's go for that. It's amazing. And it just, again, just having the artwork makes it that much more lush and pretty. Like, I don't really have any negatives, honestly.
I don't really either. I was trying to think if there was anything. I
Everything's worth points.
Yeah, I mean, like, even just making a compost pile.
Yeah.
You don't do anything with this pile. It's just getting cards out of your hand, or out of the deck, or out of your. There's some stuff that takes out of this to do things, but yeah, it's. And then the events were cool. Some of them were really powerful events, but they would cost negative points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's just a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I like that the events weren't like, because in like Terraforming Mars, they have like events that like dick over other players.
Oh yeah, these were all just.
They're all like for whatever you
they
want
hurt
to do.
You to give you something like the solar flare that I was going to possibly do. It was get rid of a sprout and take down 2 growth.
Okay.
And then I could draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just different stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was also it was worth 0 victory points.
Yeah.
So.
One that would have been great for me is Hurricane. It's like it's -1 point. I lose 3 growth, but get 6 sprouts, and that's essentially 6 points.
Yeah, because I ditched. I had a whole hand of them at once. I had Tsunami. That was -4 victory points.
Yeah.
But it was -5 growth, draw 5 cards.
Okay.
You know, and there was just a lot of different stuff with that. But
and I think this game does something a little bit better than Arc Nova does, because I know a major complaint of Arc Nova is just that market deck. There's like no real way to cycle through it. You might just be like, man, I'm glad I have all these abilities that are none of the animals that are coming out. This game like just lets you. A specific action is just drawing 4 cards. Like, do that Hurricane. I'm gonna use this. You play the Hurricane and get 9 cards. There's no.
Okay, because there's no hand limit.
Yeah.
You could get cards out, you know, like this, that gets cards out of your hand, which they become victory points then. So you want to get a bunch of cards in your hand so you can get them over there and get victory points. And
yeah, because my opening hand was basically based off of... They were all really cheap. So for this game, funny enough, we both scored the same amount, 36 points, just from what we had. But I finished mine.
Yeah.
So they were all piddly ass points, but I was going for other strategies. I was basically going for a massive sprout run because one of them was like, hey, gain a sprout on each bush in this row. So I like that there's stuff that works within your tableau. Yeah, I mean, it's surprising because I expected this game to be kind of like Keepers, just a hey, here's pretty pictures. We don't really have a game behind it. Just look at the nice pictures. But Inside Up, have they done anything else?
Inside Up, yeah, they've done. I can't think of any off my head, but yeah, they've done some. While you're looking that up, the one thing that I thought was cool was these terrain cards, because I had 2 of them that could be pretty detrimental in a game because, like, I used this one and actually used your red cards to score me 2
that
points.
was really weird.
It cost me 9 dirt. Both of these because I had 2. They were 9 dirt each.
Okay.
But it's like I get 2 per red zone in any person's
players,
deal,
yeah.
and then mine is, and then I also had the yellow ones, so I was able to use that to kind of go. But I think that's another thing with this is it also brings the puzzle. Because some cards, that is what this was. There's little arrows, so it's like...
Oh, yeah, like where
so
they're
like
at.
you need to really pay attention to where you're putting stuff
Yeah.
as well to maximize your points. So there's a puzzle
Yeah.
as far as setting stuff up.
Well, because you have to go from top left to bottom right when you activate
Right.
it. So if you put some in the wrong order where it's like you have to spend, like, spend a sprout to do this. Oh, I don't have one.
Yeah, you can.
But the next card I have gives me one. It's like, dang it, I should have put them. Okay, so they did... The only is Gorus Maximus.
That's it?
No. They did another game called Block and Key,
Oh, yeah.
which I did not like. Block and Key. It was cool, like 3D abstract Tetris kind of game,
Yeah.
but it was just kind of weird.
I knew I'd seen it on something
Yeah,
recent, but
Inside Up did sound familiar, but this is most likely their definitely most popular game.
this will be their evergreen.
Probably,
You know?
like it's just. This is like a centerpiece. Like, you want to showcase that box cover.
Right.
It's so pretty. And if I'm not mistaken, I could just be pulling this out of my ass, but I feel like every nature game does this, but I think they did a lot of... I think they planted trees for each copy that they sold. Because I feel like I got an email of like, hey, we planted 20,000 trees or something.
Yeah.
It was either this or Earthborn Rangers did something like that. All the fun nature games kind of do.
I'm not sure.
And for me, like, that's a massive win in my book. No, Earthborn Rangers did.
They were the
Everything
ones-
was local.
They were the ones they didn't do shipping. They made hubs in every country, so we would have all the fossil fuel burning.
Yes.
The
I know I got an email something about some game that planted a shit ton of trees,
Yeah.
which is like, yay! So yeah, this game has a massive amount of replayability. Now here's the question: if you have Cascadia, Verdant, Arc Nova, Meadow, Keepers, is this worth getting?
I don't know Keepers.
That one's just more pictures.
Right.
Like it's not really a game. So the other 4.
I haven't played Verdant.
Okay.
Cascadia, I feel is a lot lighter than this. I would say, I think so. Like if I had to choose, like if I had to make my decision off of those games,
Yeah.
like Cascadia would be gone.
Okay.
This one's higher than Cascadia for me, just because
Yeah.
it's more. It's not as abstract-y, kind of like how
True.
Cascadia is, you know. Like this one's more. You're building out your tableau, and
Yeah.
you get to have some control on where you're placing stuff and building stuff, and everything scores. I mean, like you were in the 200, you know, it's 200 or something to 170.
I did forget. I was the first one to
yeah.
finish. So let me hold on. Let me add my
So
score.
258.
238.
230, whatever. But
I mean, I'll go to 258.
but,
We'll just give me some
but
arbitrary
yeah, so I
number.
mean, it's like there's just so many
Why am I
ways to score.
correcting it?
There's so many ways to score on this, and there's so much replayability. I mean, like with all those cards, how you start and how those are going to be different every time.
That's so cool.
The deck's so big, so you're not going to get the same layout of cards every time. I think this one is better than those, just because of the.
Yeah,
I
would
still like
agree.
Arc Nova better.
I do too.
As far as like, I don't know what this would be like 4-player.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would change.
Because we've only played this, by the way, at 2.
Right. Being a solo-ish type experience, I think that would just take too... I mean, of course, it might not take that long because if everybody's familiar with the game, everybody's doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
But I wonder how that works. Like, so everyone
does the secondary, and then everyone... But that's why it's all simultaneous, so it's
right.
It's
You'd
like,
be getting new action every time. You'd be like loading up on dirt between your next turn.
I think it goes up to 5, dude.
Yeah, because it says 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though? Like, it's like I'm gonna do this action, and you're gonna be like just dirt everywhere.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Let's. I got to do all my red stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like that. I like the fact that you don't really hinder anyone because these are all the, terrain and stuff cards. You're just like, oh, we have 5 people. Okay, this is shit.
Yeah, you just throw them out
This
there.
is the deck you draw from. This is the deck you draw from.
You shuffle them better.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it. If they were all sleeved, I could have shuffled them.
God, can you imagine how big the stack would be sleeved?
I think all my Arc Nova cards are sleeved,
I don't even think
and
I
they're
can.
just like,
Yeah, I know.
all right. I kind of do the Millennium Blades and have like a stack. It's like, I didn't look through all those. Let's just keep those out. Yeah, that would probably be my only gripe, and it's very minor. I have the same with Arc Nova, is that's just fucking annoying to shuffle. Like, you play it a bunch, eventually it's going to kind of self-shuffle, but man.
Well, and I'm not going to sleeve a game like this because it's not like you're pretty much putting them out.
Yeah.
It's not like you're constantly like Aeon's in, like deck build stuff like that, But no, like I said, this one and Arc Nova are probably my favorite two of the whole nature.
The nature games.
Games.
Yeah, I mean, I like them all. This is a theme that really works for me. I usually am one that is kind of very, like, liberal about a lot of like stuff. It's just kind of like I don't fucking care. Like I just these are my beliefs, but do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't affect me. Kind of like mentality. But nature is something that does. It's like, oh, cool. Like more animals going extinct. That's fucking amazing. So I'm like really big on like nature themes, and it's really nice to read a fact where it's not like there were only 3 Siberian tigers left alive. It's like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm fucking depressed. Because like this one says, its fur coat is paler and has fewer stripes than other species to help it blend in with the snow. That's nice. That's a nice fact about this very, very... Now, do I know there's not a lot of Siberian tigers left? Then yeah, but I don't have to think about it because I have that fun fact to know how it blends in with the snow. And it also tells you when you're going for, and this is something other games do, but it's very much appreciated, when you're looking for strategies and you're like, I think maybe Arc Nova does this, I know for a fact Wingspan does it. It shows you the percentage. How many percent, like what percentage of cards are bushes? Apparently 19%, and I got them all. Because I got a bunch of bushes.
Yeah, because there was 25% had brown.
Yeah, I didn't get any of them. I got
was
one.
Seeing some, like I got those. And...
But that's the thing is, if I wanted to go for that, then I started putting cards in my tableau that let me draw.
Right.
I started doing this action to start cycling.
Yeah,
to
I
really
had
start
a bunch
searching.
of card draw.
Yeah.
In here too, so yeah, it was.
So yeah, I would agree with you. I think Arc Nova, if the nature themes is still up there, because I like the idea of a zoo, but at the same time, thematically, I hate zoos in real life.
Yeah. But the conservation part of Arc Nova kind of helps with.
Yeah, there are a lot of zoos now that are definitely more for preservation or conservation of like save. Hey, by the way, we kind of keep them here, otherwise they'll all die from poachers who need to be executed. This one's like, oh, they're out there. That's nice. So it works. This is kind of like that Isle of Cats thing where it's like a bunch of just different stuff that just...
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but it's not too crazy. I will say that this is one of those games, just like an Arc Nova or anything like that, that will highly favor somebody that has played it before or has played it more. I think at least early in the game until you can know how to set up and know how to roll.
Oh, I see.
So I'm saying, so like the if I've played it 5 times and I'm teaching somebody, I'm going to be able to steamroll them at least for the first half until they get a grasp of it.
Based off of like which ones you choose,
right, and stuff like that, and how this works, and how the synergy, because there is an overall synergy to this game, knowing like how to place your cards and what actions to do that's going to fire off everything.
True.
So once. I'm not saying it's going to be the entire game, but I'm just mean like you could get a good leg up playing with people that are inexperienced, because you could get a good setup early. And
right. I mean, just off the island, like you're saying, is like my Santorini island was 9 points, but I only get started with 4 cards and 4 soil.
And mine was 8. I started off with 6 cards, put 3 in here.
Yeah.
And then 5 dirt.
And 5 dirt, yeah. So I basically benefited from 1 point. But did yours have a ability? On the
brown ability.
Yeah, the brown ability. Yeah.
That's
and then
one
the
of
other
the ones that helped me get the bear.
The bear. The other one, I get it now. It's a brown bear, and it was based off brown ability. That's stupid.
What is the lightning bolt?
Immediate.
Point from event cards?
Yeah, the event cards.
Well, because this one, the ability, because I never did it because we don't have a brown. I guess that. When do the brown abilities
Browns
fire
are
off?
conditional.
Because mine was like draw a card / lightning bolt.
Yeah, because remember I had the one that was like a bear.
Oh, draw a card per event card I played, I bet.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it wouldn't have mattered.
And then the Barren Island, like my other option was a Barren Island. It's 1 point, but I draw 10 cards, cycle 2, and I get 6 soil.
Yeah, and then mine was only worth 2 points, but it was draw 8, put 3 in there, and get 8 dirt.
Yeah. But then you're also looking at certain icons of like, okay,
Yeah.
whether this is sunny, wet,
Right.
rocky, or snow, and man, yeah, that Arctic Fox needed 8 cards, and I was like, dude, looking for him, and I got exactly 8. It's like, haha!
It makes a point to say in here that you pay attention to these before you select your
Your
3
starting
cards,
stuff. Mhm.
because to know which one you want to go for if you need the winter, which I didn't have anything that was winter.
Funny enough,
Either. Oh, I did.
my other side was a tundra, but
Yeah.
I saw the Arctic Fox, and I picked my thing. I was like, okay, yeah, like Santorini, tropical monsoon, Thai Highlands. Yeah, that's all nice. That's like warm climate. And then it's like, how am I gonna get 8 snow over here? And I'm just glad this isn't restrictive. I'm glad it's not like, oh, you can't, get plants because you don't have the icons or some weird.
You're
shit.
always able to do something.
Yeah. It's very free, and it's also not that long.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it goes by quick because you're only building a 4x4. You can't remove them.
And every time this takes, you're putting 2 cards down.
At least 2. There was one time I actually chose not to.
Right, because you were and then I finished it off for you because you
Well, my plan, I was like, I planted 1 because I didn't think you were gonna do a green, so I was hoping to do blue again to fill up even more sprouts and then end it. But yeah, I'm actually surprised at how good this game is, because they could have just chalked it up as pretty pictures and then just half-ass it with an actual theme, but they got it here. Maxime Tardif and Connor
presented by Connor.
by Connor McGooey.
I wonder what presented means.
He's
Like,
like a Vanna White.
It's like a game by, but then you don't see presented generally. Usually it's like art
He's the hype man.
unless he was maybe the photographer.
Maybe the
or something.
photographer.
Or something, I don't know.
We just see him in a thong at Gen Con. He's just like holding up Earth, like with a help me
Like
kind
Atlas, holding up Earth.
He's like coated in bronze. He's shredded. I'd be like, damn, I already got a copy. I'll buy another one. Can you lick it? I would hope he's like Atlas. Yeah, just all bronzed and gunked up because he's gooey.
Gosh.
Anyway, you got anything else? You have any
I don't think
negatives?
so.
I can't really think of any.
I don't really think so. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, once there's just a tiny bit of a curve of figuring out the flow early. Once you get that, though,
Yeah.
like the more you play it, I mean, you're just gonna know how this goes, and you're gonna be able to rock and roll.
Yeah, this has the same thing as kind of if you watch my review of Darwin's Journey, is that it looks busier than it actually is. Like both of those games are kind of like oh my god, there's just so much stuff. And then you play like one round and you're like, all right, never mind, I got it.
Yeah.
And then you're really into it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving Earth?
Oh gosh. I think I've got to creep all the way up to 9.
I'm at 9 as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's solid, and I want to see what the solo is like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to see. Because
Yeah.
Ark Nova's solo is so good. And,
Yeah.
You know, just to see. But I mean, even at 2, like with this being like you had said, the more or less solo type
Multiplayer
thing.
solitaire game.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some stuff, but it's like, because Ark Nova is very multiplayer solitaire, and the only...
There's those stupid poison.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It feels forced.
Yeah.
This one, it didn't feel forced. Whenever you had your Tundra and you're like, hey, I get 2 points for
Well, it
every...
didn't affect you.
No, I was just
it
like, oh.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you took away anything from me. You didn't hurt me in any way. You're just like, hey, how many reds you got over there? I'm like, 8. You're like, cool. I get 16
points.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. But that's the thing is I'm over here. I'm not like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll stop playing reds, you know.
No, yeah.
It's not that kind of game.
Well, and I put it down at the end anyway, so it wasn't.
That's
like
true. That's true.
You know.
But even then, it's like, this is kind of like not the atmosphere to be like, well, I didn't know you could do that. I wouldn't have fucking...
Oh, no.
It's like,
Not at
oh,
all.
God, dude, can you calm down? Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful game. Elegant, very smart. Enjoyed it a lot.
Yep.
So, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, that's our thoughts on Earth. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.